Hey guys, welcome back to ArtosisCasts. We are going to dive into a few more Nada games. I'm thinking I've been enjoying these quite a bit, and he is looking really, really strong. We have Nada here in the top left of a Radeon, and in the bottom right, this is MoolSo. I don't know what this ID really means, but MoolSo is a very well-known amateur Protoss. He plays against the pros very, very often, but not quite ASL level. This guy is probably about 2,600 MMR. That's pretty damn high. That's like borderline of ASL. Like, you never know. Like, he could make the upset and make it in, but probably not expected. I wouldn't put him in like... I probably wouldn't put him quite top 5 of the amateur Protoss that haven't made it in yet, but close to that. So this should be a tough one. It is cross-spawn as well, which can be very hard for Terran against Protoss. You can see already a very tight building placement here for Nada. This is kind of an old-school depot placement. Actually, until recently, I was still using this after many, many years. But yeah, it just starts to wall in your base a little bit, keeps it very close by. But yeah. Anyways, we'll see how this goes. Obviously, we're just at the very beginning of the game. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. I'm glad that people have been enjoying seeing some Nada games. I mean, this guy is just such a legend. Just fantastic to see him back and somewhat active again. I've gotten a ton of questions since I've been releasing these games. And here's a few answers to them. For instance, Nada hasn't been playing that much ladder. All right, 75 ladder games is not that much. He may have played on some other accounts as well and deleted them. His current ladder account only has 75 games on it. So, yeah, that's not a ton. But Nada has never been known for playing a ton of games. He's just such a talented player. As far as is he good enough to make into ASL right now? Absolutely not. It's just absolutely not. He's like, he's low S rank right now, but like a solid low S rank. Like we saw that game against Bliss, the other TVP, that was a very high level game. His Terran vs. Terran was pretty good. The Terran vs. Zerg games were like okay, but I think he's got some filling in to do as far as playing a more modern approach. Even though his macro was very good, he wasn't really utilizing the right tactics to try to get the edge and break the Zerg. I think that this game should show us a lot as well. This is one of the highest ranked players that Nada went up against. I believe there is a single game against Light in there as well, which we might check out later. But yeah, MoolSo is quite strong. If you can beat MoolSo in a cross-spawn game, and especially when he's going for a Nexus this quickly, that's going to be speaking very well about your level. This is just a rangeless expansion, and, you know, Nada, if he identifies this all correctly, would be pretty happy about that. Now, he is making his bunker really, really, really quickly, which is okay. It's not perfectly optimized, because obviously the first Dragoon is here and attacking the SCV, but you can probably sit behind 2 Marines in this bunker and be completely fine. That second Marine actually chases the probe all the way out and is going to go back. And he's actually gone up to 3 Marines, which, like, people don't run by bunkers very often, but that can be very good against a runker bun by. I was about to say a spoonerism there, a bunker run by. Yeah, like having the extra Marines. That's the one thing that can be dangerous if you try to skimp a lot, like 1 Marine to 2 Marines. If everything runs past, it could get a little bit dicey without the extra damage from those extra Marines. Anyways, he's not going to be in any danger to get siege mode quickly or anything like that, which is really nice. You actually don't mind at all seeing this build order when you go for a gasless expansion as Nada has, because you just don't have to get siege mode. You can go like heavy tank, you can go heavy vulture, and, you know, just the siege mode. Siege mode is like probably the one thing that slows down Terran builds more than anything, more than even missile turrets, to be honest. Missile turrets definitely would be the second thing, but like siege mode really slows down Terran builds. It's just 150 is too much, and anytime you get siege mode, generally you're going to need at least 2 tanks with it. There are, like, sometimes you'll go 1, but if your opponent's really aggressive, that can mess things up. Now, this is an extremely fast third base, before 5 minutes. 1 gate observer. He's doing it off of like 2 goons. Notice this goon here, by the way, zoning out anything trying to scout for the third base there. So this is almost like a little bit of a tricky third because they're more likely to take this base. Missile turret going up blind for Nada. He doesn't know what's going on, so that does make some sense. There could be DT on the way. And yeah, everything looking pretty normal overall. Nada is up a few workers, so that's good, but we'll see if he can put some pressure on. This is, I was just about to say as we jump back here, this is like the exact perfect way to play this, in my opinion. The fact that he's gone for like a sub 5-minute third Nexus against a gasless expansion and is immediately going 4-gate. If he just goes 4-gate goon plus observer, that should be, with decent scouting and micro, enough to hold off any sort of 2-factory pressure. There will still be some opportunity here for Nada because he's going to move out quickly. I expect him to move out immediately with the 3 tanks, the 3 Marines, and he might bring an SCV as well. I actually really like bringing 1 SCV or even 2 SCVs with a build like this. And, you know, rallying Vulture behind. Yeah, that's definitely going to give some potential, but there's going to be a lot of goons coming out very, very quickly here for MoolSo. So 2 goons up in the front. He's going to finish this wall in pretty soon. The 3rd pylon will stop any Vultures, and there it is. So now we have the 3-base saturation. Obviously, the saturation isn't high yet on only 37 probes, and he's got only 5 goons, 6 goons now. So the next round of goons that comes out, like, more than doubles the power of his army. You may say, but Artosis, 4 plus 6, that doesn't double. Yeah, it more than doubles the strength of the army. Basically, it's about volleys. So 6 goons, 2 volleys a tank. Like, obviously, you can do things like target with 6, then target with 2, and retarget the other ones. Those things can occur sometimes, but once you can start 1 volleying or having like 2 groups that could 2 volley, that type of thing, you start to really be able to micro. Like here, these have no chance against this army. He's going to run back really quickly, not a running around, and he's going to lay some mines in the path. Oh, he's actually diving. I thought he would just lay some mines here to trap these goons because, like, I feel like killing those goons is super good right now. But Nada actually runs all the way up. Yeah, this, in my opinion, was a mistake. Like, he had an opportunity to perhaps eliminate 5 goons. You know, if you lay the mines here and then you bring the Vultures back with these tanks, you will crush these goons or at least chase them way, way far away. And once you start splitting their army up like that, sometimes you can do things like, okay, quickly jump over the other side of the mines and attack down, and these 5 goons can't get in very quickly, that type of thing. So I feel like there was a missed tactical opportunity. Now, I do want to mention that those types of tactics have been really refined in recent years, to the point where we see them. Even top pros aren't always doing them right, but people are getting better and better at locating those tactics and doing them. Like, you might look at Sharp or Speed or someone that is very tactical heavy in their approach, and they're going to pull off moves like that relatively often. And when you're making those types of choices and pulling those off, it's super strong. Whereas in Nada's heyday, you wouldn't see as many moves necessarily like that. Obviously, moves like that still have always existed. It's just like, I guess the frequency of utilizing those tactics has certainly changed. Okay, so let's take a look at where we're at. So this is already 5 factories with 2 more on the way. So 7 factories on 2 base is a very, very rare thing to see. It does look like Nada wants to do some sort of timing attack. MoolSo adding a couple more gates. We have the Forge and the Citadel. Let's see if he starts at Legs right away. Oh, are we going to sit here for like 2 minutes while Legs doesn't start and then he's going to lose to a push? Maybe. We'll see. So doesn't start those Legs right away. Again, you know I harp on this, but this is... Okay, there it is. Not that far out, but like this is one of the most important things. If your opponent is doing a big push, like you simply must be ready for it with those Legs. So he's got a couple nice groups. He's got a group out front here, a group here, Observer watching, and he's got a shuttle with Zealots. So lot of little micro tricks that can occur here. Now he's going to have to run with this. What is this move? This is so wild. Coming in for a flank. Oh, God. He's going to just drop the Zealots right on top of these siege tanks. Wow, and the flank comes in. This actually looks like an amazing move from MoolSo. We'll see if it actually ends up paying off. If he didn't have this goon flank, this would have been terrible. But the goons coming back this quickly is very, very strong. Nada is actually being Ooh, that mine was insane. Nada is actually being very efficient, but this is actually, it's okay for MoolSo, I think. In fact, I would say that this was highly valuable for MoolSo to eliminate all those siege tanks, even though he's going to lose everything, and there is a tank left over, and that, again, it was very efficient for Nada. MoolSo now has hit his stride as far as probes go. 63 probes is very healthy. He's on 4 base. You can see he's on 8 gates. His legs upgrade is coming. He's actually already remade a fair amount of Dragoons. You really want at least 10 Dragoons, I would say. And he's just about there. He's just over like maybe 11. And look, he comes out, and he's just going to micro here while building up his army. He does bring back the shuttle and going to fill that up once again. Ooh, another big mine hit there from Nada. Nada doing his absolute best with this very tiny army. He is going to want to run. Ooh, nice mine drag. He's going to push that siege tank back a little bit as well. Ooh, it's not looking super good for Nada right now, but the game is a little bit chaotic, which can work out if you're very good, like kind of tactically running around with vultures. So let's see, because this is not that many Dragoons. Like, if the Dragoon count isn't that high, you can really dictate the game. It's really hard for small Dragoon counts to do much against a Terran army at this point. When you have speed, you have mines, you have siege mode and all that. So he drops a couple Zealots on top of the tanks. That's really good. Some nice moving shots there. Gonna probably lay a few mines on this retreat, I would imagine. He really wants to save these siege tanks. If he can save these and repair them, that'll be really good. Okay, lays a few mines to trap these Zealots. Wow, that body block of that Zealot was actually huge. Not sure exactly how much he meant to do that, but that was very, very good. And the 2 siege tanks being micro back, you can see just how efficient he is against a low Dragoon count here. More Zealots running up, but Nada has a lot of units being made right now. Don't forget, he's down 20 probes, so his supply is actually very close army-wise to what MoolSo has, and MoolSo doesn't have anything special in his army. He has Psystorm on the way, and he does have a shuttle, and it looks like another shuttle on the way. So those are kind of his special things. Other than that, it's just like unupgraded gateway units. Well, they are about to have +1. That just finishes. But you can see here, Nada is really dismantling this. This is what can happen in really, oh my god, he walks through the mines, in really chaotic positions, especially when they've lost all of their Dragoons. Like, that is one of the most important moments in any Terran versus Protoss game. If Protoss loses all their Dragoons, it really gives you an opening. The Dragoons are the consistent damage, and the Zealots are kind of like the sudden damage, if that kind of makes sense. I hope that makes sense. They're almost like, I don't want to call it like burst damage, but it's like you need the goons consistently putting out damage so your opponent can't just do things like kite you the whole way. Because like if you try to kite against Zealot Goon, you're just going to get crushed. If you kite against Pure Zealot, you're going to crush. And yeah, the goons just, they add a lot in this circumstance. Now, here comes in the double shuttle drops. Gets a ton of Zealots on top of these siege tanks. So nice move there from MoolSo. In the meantime, we do have a little engagement over here that Nada is winning, and his vultures do get up on top of the Nexus, but doesn't really do the damage that he's looking for. Now, running into this natural, ooh, this could be big. Very nice Archon morph there, just barely saving that High Templar into that Archon. And he is getting quite a few probes. And he's going to try to lay the mines in here. He's trying, but I don't think that's going to work. Yeah, MoolSo targets those down very quickly. You have to be on top of that. That's a huge comeback move that could occur. You know, you kill 5-6 probes with that, and suddenly it's like, oh man, like he can't really afford producing out of all the gates. But he keeps that economy going. 4 Nexus, 67 probes can very easily produce out all these gates. Look at this, 9. He has 13 gateways right now. Pretty insane, plus the robotics. He's got Psystorm out, Observer Speed on the way. A lot of good things here for MoolSo, but he still doesn't have a very high-quality army. He has 1 High Templar only. The Archon doesn't really help. Another great mine from Nada. You can see, look at this, really abusing that low Dragoon count. Some amazing engagements actually coming out of Nada here. Damn, really good mine hits as well. Tons of vultures flowing down. You can see how much production that 7 factory can give you. And as that Dragoon count stays low, Nada continues to keep on the pressure. Now, this storm is going to be a big deal. Can he hit a very good one? Okay, sacks a couple Zealots there on the mines. Has to be careful. Ooh, if Nada could snipe this. He's going for it. He's going for it. Okay, he gets the snipe. That storm doesn't really do very much. The Archon, of course, just doesn't help very much. Everything does full damage to shields. So it gets chunked down like really, really quickly here. Like even just a handful of Vultures microed can kill an Archon with relative ease. Some more storms going out. And okay, that looks like maybe they I think there might have been like a little pause there or something. Not entirely sure. But look, right now, running forward, getting on top of these siege tanks. MoolSo, like, look, I can't believe that Nada's set up a third base during all this. He's been microing literally the entire time. All right, that's awesome. He's Nada, an old school pro talking about 20 years ago in StarCraft. Okay, so Nada does end up falling. Okay, I want to jump back. I kind of lost my concentration there when Nada started typing quite a bit. But look, he set up his third command center, and he was still microing really heavily. But you can see that MoolSo over time, like, he just kind of kept his probes live. He kept the gateway count up. He kept making units. Nada was taking pretty good engagements. He was doing the right type of idea. And, like, again, when you're so low on these Dragoons, you definitely can... Look at these engagements that you're seeing. Okay, if there's 15 Dragoons, you simply can't play like that. Not even close. The Dragoons will gun down everything. There'll be nothing left. But when it's very Dragoon light, you can see just like how good this type of micro works. Like 3, 4, 5 Dragoons, you're really not afraid with armies of this size. You just kind of plow through everything without siege mode. It's when you get a large amount of Dragoons that suddenly you need siege mode. Everything becomes a lot slower. You can't micro quite as heavily. So really well done by Nada. But of course, he really kind of died. I think he did have potential with this initial attack when I mentioned laying mines there. But more so, like, the flank that MoolSo did was very, very good. And you can see here, like, Nada kind of rejiggered his build a bit, where he went 7 factory, and look how few missile turrets he has. 1, 2. So, you know, when you get, for instance, the vultures going up the ramp, and you can see, oh, he's on 4 gate, you know there's no Reaver with 4 gate. 4 gate just means pure goon. So he kind of skipped out on turrets. He was able to afford the more factories. But really, this was kind of the moment from MoolSo where, you know, Nada's trying to set this up. If you look at the actual supply, okay, this is 11 more workers. So it's actually equal as far as army supply goes. In these types of situations, Terran scales better than Protoss. There's no splash damage or anything. So this is like Nada's making a great army. He's rallying a lot of units. If MoolSo doesn't do this move, he probably ends up losing this game. If Nada had maybe crossed his T's, dotted his I's, maybe sent a vulture over here to lay mines to watch for a counterattack type thing, he would have seen this, and he could have played against this. Like, he could have pushed this out over the bridge and then went something like that. You know, you can even do little tactics where you push it back over the bridge while making a missile turret here, you lay some mines, and then you attack, and they can't get back to flank you in time. So yeah, it feels like there's, like, just for this game specifically, again, MoolSo is a very strong player. It feels like Nada played very well. There were some modern tactics and ideas that were missing a little bit here that could have possibly turned this into a victory. But overall, I feel like he played well. You can definitely see one thing is that Nada's macro hasn't dropped a beat, which is very, very impressive. Now, he was known as the best macro player in the world until I Love Uvros. And obviously, nowadays, there's tons of players that can macro super, super well. But Nada was really, when he took over the Bonjour status from Boxer, it was mostly on the back of how well he produced units. Boxer was never very good at that. He was more about micromanagement. But you can see that despite Nada, you know, starting to peak in 2002, and obviously he continued, like, great strength up through, like, 2007 or so, which is a huge, huge long reign. But he's probably got, I would say, by far the best mechanics of anyone of that age. Like, it doesn't even seem very close. Like, his macro is actually still pro gamer level without a question. Like, I saw it in the TVZ on Deja Vu that we casted maybe 3 days ago, and I definitely see it here where he is nailing it. There's no supply blocks. His production is on key. He's rallying out very, very quickly. So yeah, it's exciting to see Nada. I hope that he starts laddering like crazy and playing with everyone else. I don't think that's going to happen, guys. I know that people are excited and want to see Nada try to return to ASL again. The thing is, I think if he actually wanted to, he would do it. I think it's pretty clear. His mechanics are very, very good. If he just modernizes a little bit, tactics and strategy. And the thing is, he's a genius, so it wouldn't be that much for him to do, I don't think. So anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this game. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.